Okay, so here's the problem. I have a series of employees and I need to be able to track who's showing up for what meeting. So we normally do a bunch of daily meetings on a daily basis. One of the problems that we have right now is the fact that it's hard to remember who attended which meeting. And this is becoming a thing that is something that I wanted to solve. So here's my thought process right now. The goal is to be able to use Microsoft Teams to because we use Microsoft Teams on a daily basis for meetings. And so what we're going to do is basically I'm going to have an adaptive card, and I'll talk about that in a sec. Adaptive card that basically takes the attendance, so aka a form that takes the attendance of people in the meeting. And then from there, I'm going to, on a weekly basis, generate a report, aka a chart, to show how many people attended the meeting for that particular week. And the month is going to give a month chart to show how many people attended the meeting for that particular week. And it's just so I can kind of track what's going on and what's happening across the entire organization. So this video, I'm going to walk you through that process, or at least how far I've gotten. So I ended up having to stop this video because it was getting too long. So this will end up being a multi-part series type of stuff. I'm trying not to make the videos too long, but sometimes some of these problems, as I'm thinking about them in real time, it's hard to sort of do both. And also, the goal of this is not to do too many editing with these videos, is just to kind of show you the raw thought process. That being said, I did pause it a few times just because I needed to kind of think about the problems here and there. So far, what I have, at least in this video, is I was able to use Microsoft Adaptive Card. So what is Microsoft Adaptive Card? Let's talk about that for a second. So Microsoft Adaptive Card is actually probably what I would consider one of the most hidden secret of Microsoft. And frankly, if the world could get on board with this application technology, I think it'll be a better place. And I do sincerely mean that. The Adaptive Card has a lot of power and it's so versatile, but yet it's only used by the Microsoft space. It's actually an open source technology. It's been around for about 5 years or so, and I've seen it in multiple iterations. I've only recently, in the last 6 months or so, started really using it, but it has a lot of power. It does some very cool things. But again, the problem is at this particular point is that it's Microsoft, so it has this sort of, stigma, I guess, around it. That's hopefully changing with ChatGPT and Microsoft having so much money inside of it. And, right now, ChatGPT and Microsoft are two separate things. But the point is, I'm rambling now, but the point is, in this video, what I tried to do is use the power of adaptive cards, the power of ChatGPT, combine them together and see if I could potentially solve this problem. And this is sort of the process that I have. So this is a longer video. I guess I gotta say, like, you have to have a very specific problem in order to want to solve this and kind of go through the lengths that I'm going through to solve it. So it's not for everybody. This is not a tutorial type video. It's just the raw process on what's happening. So with that, we'll jump over to the computer. You'll see what I do. And like I said, there's going to be a second part to this video. So look out for it at some point. I'm not entirely certain when I'll publish it. Thank you. So I'm on the Microsoft website for adaptive card. It's adaptivecards.io, and there obviously you can watch a video. So basically you can see here that it's actually, you could display things in almost any different website. So you could do it on a regular website, you could do it in a sort of on a mobile app, HTML, etc. Now, interestingly enough, that got me an idea that we might want to integrate this in our actual mobile app. We're currently redeveloping our mobile app at this particular point because they have SDK for almost everything. React Native, not Flutter. We're doing it in Flutter. That's besides the point. So the concept is that you can put an adaptive card in Outlook or Teams or web chat or wherever it is that you want, and you can have a bot that can do a bunch of stuff. I haven't actually done much with bots as yet, but with that, if you go to documentation, and I think it's here, open up Designer, right? Then you can publish an adaptive card. So this is a sample of what it looks like. The XML is actually fairly straightforward. It's actually very, very basic. So here you have the type of adaptive card itself, which is just an adaptive card. The body is just an array, right? And then in that array, you have a object, which is a text block, medium size. I can put this to large, and that will increase this. Oops. That will increase this size here for this text. Bolder, or I don't know what the other options are. Oh, lighter. There we go, of course. Right, so see, that's changing on the fly. So that's the concept there, right? And then here he has a photo of a person, then a picture and a created, and then a description. And so it's just basically sort of a column set, right? And then in the column set, you got a column 1, and then you have column 2 stretched, whereas this one is not. This is just auto, and this is an image of a person. So it's actually fairly straightforward XML. In fact, it's well laid out. There was a lot of details that was put into this. Then at the end of it here, you have an action button. So this is actions, and then right here, action.submit is the action. It says OK. On the title, interesting enough, I'm not seeing that here. So adaptive card, input date. So set date. Oh, interesting. I'm not seeing that here. Oh, here. Set due date is the title of this card. And I guess these are optional buttons that could happen depending on whatever. So that's the concept. So what's easy, what's cool about this is you could just come in here and you could say, you know what, I need to put a media. So you could just drag and drop. You don't necessarily have to know the XML, right? And then click over here, and then you could put in the properties for the adaptive card itself. So, right, add the media source or the URL or whatever it is. You could do all that stuff and get some sort of a format. So that's kind of the concept in a nutshell, and it's cool because it just gives you a way to kind of design stuff without having to think about the code in itself. So going back to my specific situation, what I'm trying to do now is so what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've gone over to chatgpt, and I basically said write an adaptive card that will show a list of checkboxes next to a list of people below with a submit button, a title and a card, same meeting attendance, report to sorry, I'm blanking out here. So the title of the card should say meeting attendance. Yes, okay, it's that right. So this is just so I could describe the top of the form, so I have something to do on the top of the form. Just close some of this stuff here, right? And then these are the names that exist in alphabetical order that I put into things just for the core meeting. So it's not for every meeting that we have, but it's just for my core developers that I have. So this is the report, and so I generated this adaptive card. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go over to Logic App, which is what I'm working on right now. I got a brand new Logic App for internal teams meeting attendance, and I'm going to do this is going to happen on a daily basis because we do these meetings on a daily basis. So it needs to be a schedule. Assuming that this thing runs a little bit slow sometimes for the trigger. What's going on here? So why isn't it showing anything? There we go. So it needs to be a schedule there. It's going to happen on a daily basis, every day. Parameters. Let's see, every week. Let's try that. Every day. See, every day, the frequency will be every day, but I wanted to do every weekday, not that's it, right? So enter custom value. Of course, I can't do that, no. So I want to do let's just go with every day for now. We'll get it right afterwards. Time zone, start time on these days. There we go. On these days. So it'll be a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, not Saturday and Sunday. Parameter. Time zone, is going to be UTC. Start time. Oh, right, time zone. So that should be Eastern Standard Time -5, and then the start time, this is going to be UTC. So so we normally do our meetings at 7:30 half of the year and 8:30. Well, at least I on my side, they don't shift their schedule, but I do. So I don't remember, blanking out. 8:30 UTC. So I need the UTC time. Come on. Need the UTC for UTC format. So that's 12:30. I got too many things on my. So 12:23. Oh my goodness. So it's gonna be, so today's the 23rd, yeah. 123, yeah, that's fine. And we just want 8:30. 8:30 convert. No, I want the full conversion, the ISO format. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's okay. I could just copy this part. It's 12:30. We know it's 12:30, so I'll just use the sample that they give us here. So it's 12:20. So 15000Z. Just got to remember to put the Z at the end. So switch back over here. So dash, there's a T after to the 24 for time, and then 00 and then 0. Okay, so there's a dash and a dash and a T and a dash, and there 12:30:00Z, right? Should be right. Okay, so that is the, oh no, you know what, I just put the time zone, so of course that's not gonna happen. That's incorrect. So this should be 8:30 because I did the time zone. So it's gonna be 08, right? So 08:30. And then what do we want to do? So we want to build an adaptive card. So come on team, man, it's so slow. Half the time you're in Logic App, the problem is that it's just searching for stuff. So teams here. So we would like to post an adaptive card. Come on. Here, post adaptive card and wait for a response every day. Yes. Okay, and then I have to sign in. So hopefully it'll just allow me there. I'll put this off sign so I could just sign in. Doesn't really matter, but so I need to sign into this account. Okay, so there, we're signed in. So it's going to be a flow. And then I'm going to post it in a specific channel. I would like to post it into my developer channel. And I would like to post it in my meetings channel. And then the adaptive card. So go back to ChatGPT, like I said, you're going to copy that, go here, paste it in there. And so those are all the names of people that I want to use the thing. And then let's save that. And then when it comes back, when the data comes back, it's going to come back in a JSON format. So all we want to do right now is just capture it, just so at least we know what it looks like, right? So we're going to use a data object. So data, come on. Where is it? I'm going to use a data object. We're going to do compose for now, just so we could pretend like we're going to compose something. And what I really want to do, let's move you over here, is I'd like to I don't want any single thing on the team side. I just want the adaptive card. Okay, so post adaptive card, wait for the response. So what I'm looking for now is probably the data. Probably the data. Body of the adaptive card. Let's see. Once it comes back, then we can do something with it. Okay, so let's run this and see what happens. So just run it. And that should go to my Teams channel. Bam. There we go, right? So I got a meeting attendance report. This form aims to keep track of meeting attendance and will be used to create a weekly and monthly report of attendance. So Dwayne, John, let's put everybody, it doesn't really matter. Actually, let's put one person off, so at least at least I have something. So submit. Now, ideally, what I like to do is when I submit it, I would return sort of like a sort of a report that shows who attended that day. But I don't know if I want to do that because it might get crowded. So I think yeah, okay. I'm not certain I want to do that yet. So let's see what came back. So here, so raw input, show raw output. So move you over here. So form was submitted. So right, okay, so it brings back it in this format. Dwayne, false, Praise true. So all the names, no space, which is cool, right? True and false. And so all I want to do now is take that and submit it. Okay, so the other part of this is interesting. So the other part is I'd like to submit a report, a weekly report on attendance. So let's see if we could do that. I'm going to pause the video for a bit so I could kind of think about it a little bit. Okay, so I think I have an idea of how I'm going to solve this problem. So what I'd like to do is I don't want to write a bunch of infrastructure code to put it up in the cloud somewhere or whatever. Ideally, what I like to do is on the fly take a JSON object, create a chart out of it, and then basically take that chart and maybe potentially convert it into a binary base64 image that I could just kind of store store somewhere. Now the truth is, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know, I'm not certain if that's going to work, but we'll see how far we get with this. So basically the goal, if not, we'll do it at the second part of it and we'll continue the series. But so I'm on chart.js, and basically this is what I want to show, something like this, right? It'll just show you each person name and then attendance type of deal. So let's go into ChatGPT and then let's see if we could at least generate something like this. So do a new chat. Gonna go here, we're gonna say using chart.js. So chart.js is the library. Chart.js, create a sample chart with data, with sample data showing of 5 people, let's say, I don't know how many were, 6 people for the week. There should be random. And let's see what it comes up with. Code should be written in. So write JavaScript code. Using chart.js library. To create a sample chart, right? Let's see what that says. Include chart.js library in your HTML. So first of all, it assumed a couple of things which I didn't put in. So we don't necessarily want it to be in chart.js. So you know, let's stop this. Let's stop it because we're going to rework it a little bit. we're going to say the code should be written in Node.js. Write JavaScript code in Node.js. RNDOM. Submit. Right, so I need to install a couple package. So while that's doing that, let's do this. Let's open up a new test project. And let's just do a new test project. JS CMD. Right, so we're gonna do our code, and we're going to how are we gonna do this? So we're gonna install chart.js. So I think I need to do node init. No. npm init maybe. Yeah, I'm forgetting all this stuff. Using too much chatgpt these days. So npm init I think is it. That should give me a, yeah, so package name is, yeah, sure. No, it can be chart.js. I take that back. Okay, that's fine. Description. Chart to a graph. Convert the data to a graph. To a bar. Okay, entry point, yes. Test command, no tests, no git repository, no keywords, author, sure. No license. Is this okay? Sure. What if I say no? So we got a package.json. So this is not a chart.js. This is a attendance.js. Attendance report. Attendance report chart. Sure. Let's go with that. Okay. So now we have that. Just gotta paste this guy in. I might have done something around there. Hang on. Okay, that's good. Fantastic. So we have that. Let's go back to ChatGPT, see what we got. So we installed the graph. Next, create a JavaScript file, name attendance.js. So we're going to put that in index. It's going to have this function here. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, blue, red, green, yellow, etc. And then, where's the data? We need sample data. No, please. So we're going to say get the data from a JSON. So I'm going to modify it so that it's not necessarily generating random code, which is what it's doing here, right? It's saying from 1 to 6 randomized, and it's basically putting out something. We don't necessarily want to do that. What we want to do is we want to get it to get the data from something else. But in the meantime, let's copy this just to make sure it's actually working, because we don't know if it is. So with that, I gotta jump back over here. Package.json, we're gonna do index.js. Paste that in here. And how do we run it? Good question. Node index. I actually don't know. I have no idea how to run this because oh right, yes, I can debug this. I can debug it. Can I? How would I? Yeah, I'm not sure because I'm not using express or any single thing. What is it returning to me? It's returning a create chart. Where is the chart going to be displayed? I have no idea. So why don't we, let's just try running it and see. So I'm in Visual Studio, so I could do F5. I'm going to tell it that it's a node application. So let's do run and debug and see what happens. So chart canvas. Right, so did we not install that? I thought we did. Okay, video's getting a little bit long, so I might break this up into another part 2, but let's see if we could at least get this running. Oops. So right, run and debug. Is it doing anything? I don't usually spend much of my time in Node, so this is one of those things where I'm not 100%. So what is it supposed to be doing? Are we live? Do we have a run and debug? Yes. Okay, we got a debugger. It keeps stopping. So what does that mean? So okay, so we need to add some more code because it's not necessarily clear. All right, so let's do this first. First, we're gonna. This is interesting. So it's asking you to do a 1 2 for each person, right? So that means that this is the format that we're gonna need to have to compose the data. For each person. So let's ask it a couple questions about this, because you see what I need to do is I need the data to transform a little bit more, because the data is going to come in on a daily basis, and then it'll need to be transformed into something like this. So how do we do that? So the data, because what's going to happen is the data is going to be like this. It's going to be node, right? It's going to say person 1. It's going to have date and time. Date, time. So I need to copy a date and time. So it's going to have it's going to look like this, right? It's going to say the data is going to look something like this, and then it's going to say attended, true, right? So it's going to have person, date and time, attended, true. And then what else is it going to have? Oh, we don't need it. Yeah. So attended, date and time, true. And then it's going to say comma, right? Person 2, same thing. Person 3, same thing, right? And then it's going to repeat. So what we need to do is we need to convert it. So let's just do it like this first. So the data will be stored in this format, and what we need to do is we need to take the recommendation that ChatGPT is done, which is oh my goodness, where's my ChatGPT window? Here. We need to get it into something that looks like this, right? So here and here. So let's ask it. That's the whole point of it, right? the whole point of this exercise is to see how far we can push this. So we need to, I'm sorry, I'm going to sneeze for a bit. I might sneeze. Sorry, I just need to sneeze. So yeah, so we're going to say the data is this format. We need it to be in this format. What can we do to, well, how would you suggest? Let's do that. So let's say I'm a bit on how to construct my data, because the data format I have is the following, right? And then somewhere in between here, right? I'm just doing this to separate the instructions. So how do I change? Right, so basically what I'm saying is I have one data format, you have a different data format, and my data is going to come in this particular style. So how do I take that and transform it into, not necessarily transform it into this, but well, that's basically what it's going to end up doing, because it'll basically group all of the names together, and then it'll add a data stream for each one of them, right, in order to populate it. So that's basically what it's going to try to do. So let's see what it's doing here. So yeah, I understand your confusion. It's so empathetic. So to adjust the code to your data format, you'll need to process the input to create a summarize blah 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 in the week. Yes, okay. So given that, suppose you have the following: person 1, person 2, person 3, yes, with different dates. Yeah, okay. You have to modify the chatgpt script to take in your data, attendance, right? You have to loop through it. Now I need to tell it to always write comments in the code. That is the number one thing, right? The comments. This code is fine right here, but then, you know, a month later, listen, if normally when I write code, a week later, I forget what the hell I wrote. So ChatGPT writing code, you better put some comments inside of there. So you need to put comments in every single thing. Okay, so attendance for each. So please comment the code. Let's wait until it's finished. Right, okay, so what it's doing is saying for each, so attendance data, right, because it's parsing the data, and it's saying for each record, get the date. So let's make sure we get that right. So if for each record, date, time, day of the week, get day, right? If record.name, then summarize record.name. So array fifth. Oh my goodness, why is it using array fifth fill to get the fifth? I'm confused by this array fifth. What is array fifth, that thing? Okay, so we need to tell it to summarize the code, and it's using a map in order to get all the entries. I'm not good with data structure, so I'm learning here as well. So let's do this. So let's say, can you please comment your code? And do this for all code going forward. Let's see. So that's one. Then the second part of it is create an attendance chart, right? So this is the chart part, and then it says for each person in the index, views, and then configuration, bar chart, attendance, and people for the week. So let's try to run that. But the question is, I don't know how to run it and display something locally. So should we? Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this video and then we're going to continue to the next part, partially because it's just getting too long and I want to make sure that we at least kind of chop these videos up into parts, right? Yeah. So we'll continue this in another video.